Have you ever caught yourself watching a stream or a gameplay video just to make yourself want to play video games? Or scrolling through your library of games trying to find something that piques your interest? Or starting a game just to find that you really can't dive in deep enough to get lost in it? It's boring, but you want to. You want to enjoy it. You want to get lost. You want to get so enthralled with a game that you finish it. I don't think that I'm alone in this, and I don't think you are either. There's been plenty of videos I've seen in the last couple years talking about how we can't have fun with video games anymore, or they're not fun anymore. And I think there are lots of reasons for this. And I kind of wanted to compile the main ones that I felt were the main reasons behind this in this video. The first reason I think is because we're older and it doesn't feel new anymore. And I kind of want to pair this with another reason as well, is that we have more worries than we used to. That's not to say that some people, or maybe even most people, didn't have worries throughout childhood, but they were so much easier to escape in moments, especially playing video games, because for one, they felt new. We were just really getting into gaming, and it was fresh and it was fun and it was exciting. And that's not to say that we can't get excited for a game nowadays. I'm very excited to see the new Fable come out, but in the back of my mind, number one, I'm afraid it won't come out. If you know, you know. And number two, I'm afraid that if it does, I won't like it. And call me what you will, but I'm tearing up a little saying that, because I deeply, as an adult, I was maybe 22 or 23 when I played Fable for the first time. I was late to this game. I spent so many hours wreaking havoc because I found a game where I got to play out being the opposite of how I lived my real life. And that to me was thrilling and engaging and easy to get lost in. I loved getting to pretend be demon person. It was it was so fun. I wanted to be the chicken kicker, because I wouldn't dare in real life. That's not who I am. So it was so fun to get to literally feel like I was experiencing being someone else, because they like to say that video games can make you a bad person or make you do bad things, and that's a topic for a whole other video, because that ignores a whole lot of real life, doesn't it, and what the real life reasons are for people making really terrible decisions. But it doesn't fit. The things I got to do in those games weren't real. It was all make-believe. And it's not because I really want to kick a chicken. It's because I got to be something that wasn't real. And I got to do things that weren't real. But it was fun to explore, I guess, what that would be like. And maybe you can think that's sadistic. I don't know. But I'll bring you back to a specific memory in it. I went to one of the first small villages in Fable 3, and I married a woman, and she gave me an STD, and so I killed her and then in the entire village. And maybe it is a God complex we all have that led me to doing this. But I had a blast. Say what you will. That hoe gave me an STD, and I beat everyone's ass for it. And I just thought it was so much fun. And I'm so afraid that if the new Fable comes out, I'm not going to experience this. And I don't necessarily think it will be the developer's fault. I think there's a really good chance it won't be their fault and it'll be my brain's fault. Which brings me to my second reason is I think we spend a lot of our time overstimulated. We're watching TV, we're watching TikTok, we're watching YouTube, we're on our phones consistently. For me, I say on our phones is a separate thing because I don't watch any of these things really on my phone. My phone is a separate entity. I spend most of my overstimulation on my computer or on my TV, but mainly my computer. And I think when you spend all that time being overstimulated, you want to play a game to escape in a different way, and it just doesn't work anymore. It doesn't hit those dopamine receptors because it's just not stimulating enough anymore. And I know everyone doesn't have this problem, and the people who do don't always have it. Certain games may hit that for you. But I do think that I can't be the only one, and that probably spends way too much time overstimulated. So when they pick up a game, specifically a solo player game that's not high action, like a 5v5 or something like that might be, how you could get bored and therefore not be able to get lost in it. I do think to some degree the games themselves can somewhat play a part, which is possibly another reason that we're getting bored. They're making games to be large and graphically impressive, but they may then feel empty because they're supposed to be large and impressive to look at and keep you spending money. So monetization is a core process now of making games and having them be more impressive graphically than the last game and larger, but they may feel empty. So like they put all this time and effort into these things, and then you feel empty and the game feels empty, and so you quickly get bored and don't want to pick up the game again. And I think that that is also a part of the problem. I do think that our brains are a larger part, but I think that the development is definitely off track of where it should be for the consumer, gamer, and all of us. Because we do not play a video game with the intent of spending money in that video game. That really shouldn't be a part of the big design and development for games. That's not why we're here. That's not why we're there. And I think that's why a lot of games with this main focus are not doing as well when they come out these days, because I spent so many hours in Phasmophobia and all you could do is buy the game. There was no in-game purchases. There was an idea and a direction to make a good game that people would enjoy playing, and they profited off of that. That's a good profit model for entertainment, is that people will actually enjoy it. That should be the main focus if it's not. And I think a lot of big companies have missed the mark on that in recent years, with the hopes that because it's a well-known game or series that people will buy it anyway. And I think that that has worked to some degree and probably will work to some degree. I think that at some point that's not going to be enough, because we increasingly also do not have money to spend on these big budget games that are boring. That are just there to try to sell us things. Like, I don't know, build another consumer model. Like, be the next Amazon. Why are you making games? Like, if you just want people to point, click, and spend money, like, do something else. You're in the wrong industry. I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of money, but we increasingly do not have that money to put there. So you're going to have to figure it out. Anyways, let me not get on a rant on the profit model for video games. I think that, let me not go on a rant. I do think that there are some things that we could do. I think that it might help a lot to do more real life stuff throughout the day and get off your phone / computer, TV, whatever. And just do more things in real life that you would consider boring, things that you need to do, things that you tell yourself you want to do, but then you keep watching stuff. Like for me, it's reading or crochet or coloring or working out, put more effort into working out. Like there's all these things that we tell ourselves that we want to do, and then we keep our eyes glued to a screen anyway, of not games necessarily. Well, I'm not talking about games. I'm talking about the passive entertainment that we just sit there while it buzzes into our eyeballs. We should do more of those real life things. Spend more time with the people around us. Go outside, take a walk. There are all kinds of things you can do to get your eyes off a screen. And I think that trying to stop yourself from being overstimulated all the time could make games more stimulating, especially solo player games. I used to enjoy them a lot more. Now I can't play anything but fast to the action, like 5v5s, shooters, maybe something like Dead by Daylight. I like that game a lot too, but I haven't even played it in a while. And I keep telling myself I'm gonna play Dead by Daylight. It's been about 2 weeks and that hasn't happened yet. So what's wrong with me? Another thing is, I mean, if you don't have people to play games with and you think that that would help you enjoy them more and you're not really even interested in playing solo games, get on like communities of that game, like a Reddit community, or even look on TikTok. You know, sometimes people will post TikToks and be like, where my 30s girlies playing horror games or Fortnite or whatever. And sometimes you might find someone to play with in those comments. I mean, I do think that a lot of people have friends to play video games with and may not find that issue. But I'm sure there are also just as many people out there that are really just wanting some kind of companionship while they play video games, and they're having a hard time finding that. And I do want to preface that by saying, you know, I have a group and I play video games with them, and sometimes the game doesn't even allow, you know, like say it's squads. Well, if there's 5 of us, you know, there's not really. What I'm trying to say is if you're one of those people, don't force it. You know, when you find the right people to play with, you'll know. You will know. I personally know that you can get your feelings hurt a lot more if you force something like that. So just, you know, don't get discouraged. Keep on the lookout. Get in these communities who have interest in playing the same games you do, and you'll eventually find a group. I mean, as long as you're not, you know, a total asshole. And even then, you know, typically when someone is, you know, talking trash in the lobby chat or what have you, they typically have a buddy there with them. So, you know, even if you're an asshole, you can probably find someone to play with. I just wanted to talk about this because I've heard some of these things said in videos similar to this, and some of them I've not heard being said, and I just wanted to compile all my thoughts and reasonings into one video. Maybe you'll connect with it, maybe you don't, but I appreciate you being here either way. If you would like to like this video, that'd be cool. if you'd want to subscribe, that'd be awesome. If you don't want to do either one of those things, then I will try again next time. Bye bye.